Chapter 5. That little bop Boogie with the Countess chased the voodoo right up out of my veins. Too much boiling blood, not enough booze in my system. Those Charlie balls out there chowing down on their fellow human brethren, and those mother bitches turned to child sex slavers were the real deal. They weren't no actors, I tell you. Them tattoos and them brandings weren't no novelties from no Hollywood hills. And yet, that cunt the Countess with her economics and business law degree, who ain't seen Leroy or Jack in the dark, was calling the shots here in this so-called civilized community. Walking tall like she's got a Tommy gun in her panties and a wad of razor blades in her mouth for chaw. Wasn't for them two Irish clowns, the gal would be a crawdaddy in a boot. But by some cat-lick miracle, she'd managed to latch a claw around the folks in the town. And she knew well, as we knew, that she had them claws clamped around our balls, too. As I shambled to return back into the crud house, a peculiar sensation struck, stripping the skin, tattered overalls, and denim jacket from my person, leaving me a disconsolate pile of walking bones, tarnished, creaking, and stooped, hopelessly hexed to be nothing for the remainder of my days but a worthless minion, a lifetime condemned to enslavement to the whims of the waste world. We were the Countess's junkyard bitches, and her bog-hopping bodyguards had taken directly to showing me how quickly the Countess could emasculate us. Richard and old man Walters might have been up on the clouds high, strutting away on golden fiddles with strings made of angel's hair. And mayhaps they were playing the ditty to me, one of the unlucky sons of bitches that got left behind to rot away till the day I collapse. Maggot sauce. "Put some iron in your spine, bro," Skoll said, clapping me on the back. "You starting to look wretched as Trody." Matt glided a bottle down the bar. Skoll handed it to me. Again, I took a seat at Trode's table in the back. The skinny fool was scratching down notes in his notepad with the fury of a cat burying its shit on a marble floor. Trode's persistent prattling unexpectedly aroused my curiosity, prompting me to fix eyes rather pointedly upon the attenuated man. "What's cooking in that skull of yours?" I said, leaning over the table, tapping the wood with my knuckles. There was a pause from Trode's ramblings, but he continued to stare downward at his workspace. Man was his own self-made calamity. But right before I gave up hope getting blood from that turnip, Trode snapped his neck upward in the manner of a glyphed buck. "Pay the toll, baby. Pay the toll. Ain't no phantom booth, baby. So don't jump to conclusions. Only the real McCoy. No Hatfield tricks in my parlor, baby." I said it before. I ain't paying for any campfire tales. Give me a morsel for I buy the whole sack. Trode's eyes rolled up with the spiritedness of dead minnows on a stagnant pond. He fanned his fingers like fallen dominoes. "Baby, gotta eat." He held a single finger in front of his face, splitting his runny eyes between that skinny digit. "But a morsel? Yes. A crumb, yes. The carrot on a string for the rabbit. Names coming up, baby. Weird names, you follow? A circle up in Death Rock. Gots to mixin' black arts and bad chemicals." And with that profoundness, Trode stuck his nose back into his pad. "Say some folks up in Death Rock are messing with devil stuff and chemicals?" I asked. "What sort of chemicals you talking about?" "Gotta eat, baby. Gotta eat." "I know. We all gotta eat. But I ain't got the time or inclination for the fairy tales. Somebody spinning a yarn and you done overpaid that heap of scrap metal for intel about as worthless as a hole in a raft." I stood to vacate the table. Trode's bony hand clutched my wrist. Without looking up, he spoke. "Regina, feed me later. I feed you too." I shook from his hold and surveyed the room. Skoll was heading my way. Crusted remained on the far side of the bar playing dartball. We didn't let him drink anything stronger than spiced water, if any spices were in stock. Every time Crust got a few stiffs in him, he turned more violent than a pissed-off badger on a mountain of fire ants. One time he nearly put Skull through a panel wall. Nearly. Had to finally restrain him till the liquor wore off. Then he went back to chewing on chubby crayons. "So Queen of the Deadheads needs some lovin' from us, huh?" Skull said, snatching a piece of paper from Trode's notepad. The man's head popped up, flashing a Wolverine smile. He was ready to go for blood. "Cool your jets, Trody." Skull waved a hand at him. "I'll bring you 5 pages for that one." He proceeded to rolling a joint and lit it with Trode's candle. "Surprised she never tasked us with finding her some blood to drink." I knew that wasn't the case. A year ago I'd asked Ranja if she drank blood as part of her spook show image. Apparently she wasn't that hardcore about the act. She had wanted me to stop calling her Ranja, though. She wanted to be called Countess Raven. I laughed. How fucking cliché. Ever since Poe penned that damn tale, every troubled young boy and girl thought it fancy to take up the moniker for themselves. "How about little Miss Ghoulie Cunt?" I had offered. She kicked me in the balls with her V-tipped stiletto. I didn't change my mind on the Ghoulie Cunt, though. She decided on using the title Countess alone. "Ranja is a beautiful name," I'd said. She tried to kick me in the balls again. Ranja was one of those people who would outlive us all because she was too goddamn bitchy and too stubborn to die. The Angel of Mercy would need a night at the Crud House after coming for Ranja's obstinate soul. She barks orders at people around here like we're all supposed to kneel and lick her toes on command, I muttered between sipping my gin. Trode pushed away from the table, scurried toward the bar where he busied himself with popping quarters into strychnine and scribbling things in his legal pad. The life of a bot freak must have been as taxing as contract killing. He was always buying pens and notepads from people, and generally only accepted quarters and food for bartering. As much scrap meat and pens and pencils I'd tossed his way, I hoped the bastard kept a running credit in his record books. "You should fuck her," said Skull. "Fuck Trode?" "Her," Skull chuckled. "But if you want to fuck Trode too, don't let me stop you." "Is that your solution to all problems? Fuck it?" "Works especially well with the women folk. They're uptight because their pussy's getting too dry and locking the muscles up down there, which causes tensions to build and radiate throughout the rest of the body. It's fucking scientific fact, man. Think they're hysterical or something, but one mind-blowing orgasm from a big hard dick and they'll be singing Winter, Winter, Chicken Dinner for weeks, baby." I would never fuck the Countess. Her pussy probably had venomous orbs of mold that rendered male genitalia into pea soup. I think I'll use my diplomatic charms and keep my penis out of it. "Suit yourself, brother," Skull said. "I could whip mine out in front of her." He dropped his pants to reveal his erect penis with the words, "Headhunter," tattooed across the length. "She'd be so enamored by this beauty, man, that she'd give us the keys to the town." "Put it away, asshole," I said. Skull complied, but not before he gave his stiff penis a few vulgar strokes. "You just jealous 'cause the biggest word you could get tattooed on your dick is a period." "You're a creep. And a dumbass. No wonder our old man wanted to blow your brains out." "Yeah, ain't that a shit lozenger down the throat?" "We should probably go search for the kid soon," I said. "Ain't no pussy squirt kid gonna ruin my good time," Skull snickered. "Why we doing this gig anyhow? We ought to saddle up and roll out of here with our heads held high, not our heads up her tight hole." "He's her kin," I muttered. "Only kin she got left." "He's probably getting eaten alive by hell only knows what right now," Skull said. "Wouldn't want to interrupt something's dinner, would we?" Crust crawled on his hands and knees towards Spit Butcher in the opposite corner of the dingy room. The mechanical bull was another of Professor Badcock's contributions. The sounds of drunken cheers and clinking drinkware filled the bar room. Crust made his dramatic entrance. After clearing the platform, he leapt to his feet and charged the bull. The crowd roared louder. Surprisingly, he was a natural at the damn thing, So good, in fact, that people would make bets on who could ride Spit Butcher the longest, and most of the locals bet on Crust. Every so often an outsider passing through would challenge Crust, the retard kid, and they always fell on their asses. One more way, Crust earned his keep in the trio. It's amazing that when you're such a simple-minded person, the most complex things in life come so easy. So while most people held Crust at the bottom of the bucket, it was them who ended up wearing the wig of shit. "How much the bitch gonna pay us to drag her brat back here?" Skull asked. "'Cause if it ain't enough to pay next week's tab, then I say we wish the little bastard good luck and go find us a real gig. We're mercenaries, not glorified nannies." Though it's awful to admit, every so often Skull makes a statement that I can get behind. Usually it's when he's drunk or when I'm drunk. Either way, him and me were riding in the same buggy right then. Maybe Rusty could make it out there on his own. No threats had come near Grot Hill in over a month. If the front could remain quiet for another day or so, Rusty would wise up and come dragging his own sorry tail back into town. "She promised a week of free drinks," I lied. "We'll save a lot of resources for that week, considering how much we burn on booze." Skull nodded. "I heard Plant and the boys were heading west in the morning, straight by Grandma's," he said. "We link up with them and look for the boy while scavenging. Power in numbers." "Good plan," I said. "I'll go talk to Plant. You wait here and collect Crust's winnings." "Whoa, brother," Skull stood. His hulking torso and broad shoulders blocked my path. "Why I gotta stay here and babysit Junior?" "'Cause we both know if you head over to Plant's wasted, you're gonna make moves on Molly." Skull only wanted to ride with Plant's gang because of Molly Plant, Jacob's young wife. Molly belonged to an exclusive club outside of her husband's biker gang. On one hand, I could count the members in that club. It was the "We haven't fucked Skull and don't plan to anytime soon" club. Karina had even lost her membership card last winter. But my little brother always did like a challenge. He'd have better luck getting cold milk from a burnt shroom than getting his one-eyed Willie in Molly's leather pants. "Either Jacob or Molly is going to put a bullet in your nads," I continued. "And as much as I'm a proponent of your castration, I'd prefer you be on active duty when we go tracking the kid down." Skull flashed me a smirk. He looked over his shoulders at Crust riding Spit Butcher. "Why don't we both go then? Crust can take care of himself. Time to cut the apron strings. Plus, you'll be there ensuring my nads are safe." "Fine. Bring your ass along," I said. "But check your dick and balls at the door. We straight about that?" "As an arrow, brother." Somehow I doubted that. But at least I'd be there when they blew his balls off.